Hi, thanks for joining me. I'm Dr. Lana Marconi. My guest is David Lyon. He is a magician, a mentalist, and an intuitive, and he's joining us all the way from Montreal at the Modern Knowledge Tour here at the lovely Isabel Theatre on the University of Toronto campus, downtown Toronto. David, magician. What do you do as a magician, intuitive, and a mentalist?
Oh man, it's a loaded question. I guess the best way I could put it is that what I love to do is I love to blend illusion with reality. Meaning I love to take tricks and combine them with actual ability. Because the thing is, when I first started performing magic, I noticed that when I was starting just with tricks, people would believe that what I was doing was actual, real magic. And so that kind of, just being the kind of guy that I am, I felt kind of responsible for being a liar in a certain way. But at the same time, I didn't want to take that away from them because it inspires possibility in their mind. So instead what I did is I decided to discover real magic. I decided to discover things that could count as actual ability, such as hypnosis, mentalism, intuitive channeling and such, and combine it in my performance.
So who have you performed to?
I've performed for, I don't know if you're aware of Drake. I performed for Drake. I performed for celebrities such as Cardinal Official. I performed live on City TV. I've performed for a whole bunch of people, from strangers to celebrities to people. I love people. That's my thing.
Okay, I want to know, where is the real magic in life?
Where is the real magic? And that's a great question. I would say it's in growth and in the becoming of more of yourself. For me, that it's, the more you find yourself, the more you tap into your fire and your creativity, the more life works out for you, and because to me that's your purpose. Your purpose is all about becoming your best self and finding where you fit perfectly in life. So yeah, I would say it's really in the growth of becoming more of who you are and going back to your original authentic state.
So how has being a magician accelerated your own personal growth?
Oh man, it's accelerated my own growth in a lot of ways, especially because when I first started out, I was someone who was looking for my value. I wanted to know my worth. And in the beginning, I used to identify myself as a magician. I thought that was my worth. And I thought, if I wasn't a magician, I was worth nothing. So it took me on this journey of discovering who I was and where I belong and my own worth. And coming to learn that, it's not being a magician that makes me valuable. It's actually who I am, so learning that it's my sensitivity, it's my humor, it's my way of being goofy or whatever. And so it's really just catered into the role of seeing my ego, seeing who I think I am, seeing my insecurities, and using that as a tool to grow and get more in touch with myself.
That's terrific. Hands down to you. I would love to see one of your performances.
Absolutely.
The Modern Knowledge Tour, which we're both at today here, is about releasing the truth to the world. So what is your version of the truth? And also, what type of planet is in your vision?
Ooh, good questions. I like this.
I've done this a few times.
I can tell. What is my version of the truth? And sorry, could you repeat the question?
Sure, no problem. Okay, so what's your Modern Knowledge is about releasing truth to people to help elevate the consciousness of the planet. So what is the truth that you would like to disseminate to the world, and how do you see humanity evolving?
I think the most important truth that I like to disseminate to the world is the importance really of being yourself. And I know it sounds very cliche and very simple, and it is very simple. But to me, there's nothing more important than that. For example, when I went out on stage earlier, I had nothing prepared. I really wanted to just surrender to the moment and allow myself to speak intuitively and from my heart. And it came out clumsy and it wasn't perfect, but I felt that it also allowed me to be more relatable to people. Because if I would have come out there and been all perfect and had everything perfectly structured, if there was anyone else in the audience who maybe wants to be a speaker or do something similar, they might feel like they have to be perfect. They have to have everything together in order to do this. And so I like to serve as an example of that, whereas you don't have to be that. It's better to just be you, even if it's full of mistakes and whatnot. And I think that's the truth that's most important, is to be authentically you, no matter how mistaken or flawed it might be. And yeah.
That's beautiful. And you have beautiful eyes, by the way. I'm standing here looking into his eyes, and they're like the most gorgeous eyes I've ever seen. I know. I don't mean to make you blush. Okay, I want to talk about your pendulum that you have here.
Yes.
Tell us about it. It's beautiful.
Back in 2012 is when I started teaching energy and intuition classes. And one of my students who came in, and sometimes there was consistent students and sometimes new people would come in. And one of my students who came in just randomly decided to give me this gift of this pendant. It was his great-grandfather's, and he knew at the time I was very passionate about ancient Egyptian teachings. And so he felt that this was meant to me. And by the same coincidence, I happened to have an Egyptologist in my class who I met then and never again. And she looked at the pendant and she took a picture of it and she gave me back the meaning. And in short, without going into the whole detail of it, it really just means the sooner you let go of who you think you need to be, the sooner you become more of who you truly are, which is really the whole theme of my life. So it was really an amazing and meaningful gift to get in that moment. Yeah.
Lovely. So what's next for David?
What's next? Well, what I'm doing now is my friends and I, we started a foundation called the Life Center, where life stands for Lessons in Finding Enlightenment. And we're all guides and intuitives in our own right with our own unique abilities. And so we basically started this center to provide not just resources where people can help themselves and receive guidance, but it's really meant to serve as a community where like-minded people can find other spiritual thinkers, because a lot of times like your family doesn't believe in spirituality and they don't accept you for that. So it's meant to provide a support system for those people so that they can grow in a more fun and accelerated way. And we have this on Facebook. It's called the Life Center for now. Well, meaning for now it's just on Facebook. It's not just for now, it's called the Life Center. And aside from that, I'm working on a lot of projects with Lionism as far as doing seminars, using magic to convey wisdom. I like to use my magic to captivate, but then connect it to spiritual concepts. And just have fun doing it.
Lovely. What is your personal website for people who want to connect with you?
My personal website is www.lionism.tv. Lion like the animal, ism like Buddhism. So lionism.tv.
Wonderful. David Lion, thank you so much for your time today. Magician to Drake. Who knew? That's fantastic. And all the best to you and your work. And thank you for everything you do on this planet to inspire people through your magic, because life really is magical. For more interviews, please check out my website, drlana.com.